Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with Chris, KJ, and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Of course, welcome to another episode of Sippin' Sports Podcast. As you guys can see, KJ McCoy's got the red ready. I got the green. Phillies sports never looking better. But Mac, how you feeling tonight?
Not too bad. I mean, the Phillies are about to start off their series with the Pirates, big rival, the Battle of PA. So we've kind of seen that happen this season with the Eagles. We saw that with the Steelers when the Steelers came to town. Now we get to see that with the Pirates. So that's going to be really cool. I'll actually be there Sunday, so I'll get to see Paul Skeens pitch on Sunday. So that's going to be awesome. I'm going to try and get there really early and try and get some content and try and get some footage of Paul Skeens pitching. So that'd be cool.
Skeens versus Sanchez on the mound, going to be a good matchup. We'll see who wins that one. As KJ mentioned, The Battle of PA begins Friday night. So Friday night, looks like Suarez is going to be on the mound, Ranger Danger back at it, and then Zach Wheeler Saturday. So how you feeling about this rotation? You got Suarez Friday, Wheeler Saturday, and then you got Sanchez to clean up against Skeens on Sunday. You confident?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Pirates right now, they're at a downfall. I mean, they just fired their manager last week. So right now they're in a total pickle as an organization. So, I mean, I know a lot of the fans are telling the owner right to his face. I've seen videos like telling him to sell the team. So right now the Pirates are, I mean, they are really at a dry spell right now. So I think right now is the perfect time to really go at them and have some great games for these pitchers. I mean, Ranger Suarez, he had a pretty good game recently. So, I mean, he was pitching pretty well recently. I'm pretty sure it was him. He did pretty good. And then, yeah, we got Zach Wheeler, which is Zach Wheeler. I mean, like to see him have a good game, that'll be good to see him have a good outing against the Pirates. And then obviously we said before, Chris Sanchez on Sunday to go against Paul Skeens. So, I mean, that's going to be a really tough matchup. And if they can get 2 out of 3 of these games, which, I mean, it'd be awesome to get a sweep, especially for what people also call the poop series. Why I'm saying that is because the scoreboard sometimes will say it'll have the Phillies logo, it'll have 0 and 0, and then it'll have the Pittsburgh Pirates logo. Dalt will probably pull up a picture in just a little bit or something like that, but it's a funny meme, and that'll be funny to see that. I don't think tonight, because we're playing with our City Edition jerseys or our City Connect jerseys, so that won't be happening. So for all the people that were hoping for that tonight, it'll probably happen Saturday and Sunday. But I think this team, though, they obviously with the rain that happened recently, and they won they lost the series. Yeah, there it is. They lost the series against the Cardinals, and that was a horrible series that we had against them. I mean, we got one game, but I mean, it sucks to not see Schwarber get that record. But yeah, there's the poop. That's what I'm talking about, the poop scoreboard. Pretty funny. But yeah, it stinks not seeing him get the record. I mean, they had back-to-back games. They had that doubleheader of a game. And then that last game, I've been trying to tell people, I tried to tell so many people that Aaron Nola did not deserve the contract he got, and he gave up like 9 runs, and that was just awful. That was disgusting and horrible performance by Aaron Nola.
Yeah, it's frustrating too because I really like Nola as a person, and I know I'm not the only one in this city that does. He had his event, I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, and that seems to have gone well. You see the whole team's out there supporting, but it just seems like Aaron Nola can't find it this year. He can't find his role quite as a Philadelphia Philly, and it's really frustrating. I think today they announced, was it, that, he's getting sent down. I guess it is. He's injured, out with an ankle injury or something like that.
What, he's getting sent down to Lehigh now?
I think they're going to put him on. I don't know exactly because, like I said, as I always say on this podcast, sitting in a green room, so I can only speak so much on the Phillies. Yeah. But I believe what it essentially was has an ankle injury, and then after that, his rehab assignment is going to be with Lehigh Valley, with the Iron Pigs. So they're going to have him go out there and pitch. You can look it up in the background if you want. I'm looking up. But I do believe,
he's on IL. Yeah, with the right ankle sprain. Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, we know it's not an ankle. It's definitely mental with him. But whatever they got to do to get this guy out, it's May, right? It's May 16th, 2025. There is plenty of baseball left to be played. There is plenty of time for the weather to warm up and Aaron Nola to play better baseball, get into a better mental groove. Like, that's part of what the game's about. So when you start off the season bad, in a bad mental groove, it's going to continue. So I think what they're trying to do is get him into that mental groove. And then once he's into that mental groove into the summer, then bring him in. Hopefully the team's also in that mojo and momentum that it all goes the same way. And I think that's kind of what Dombrowski was talking about last year when he said, hey, this team just didn't find it at the right time. They couldn't put it together. We have the talent. I want to reiterate that. We have the talent. We just didn't do what we were supposed to do. So I think a lot of Phillies fans and Dombrowski are hoping that now, with all that being said, that Nola could come back and be a piece. Same thing with Suarez. It's funny because the time that the Phillies are going to have the puzzle fully complete, I think is going to be June, July, maybe August. But once that puzzle gets fully complete, they could be the most dangerous team in the MLB. You think about it, Ranger Suarez wasn't there in the beginning of the year. Now that puzzle piece comes back, but then another one in Nola goes. Maybe Nola takes on a different role for the Phillies. I don't know. Maybe like some kind of different pitching role. If that's maybe
make him a reliever. I mean, we'll see if that happens. They could. I mean, they did that with Taijuan Walker, who's never been a reliever in his career. And now they're kind of testing that out. They're testing out the waters with him being a reliever. And he looked pretty good, actually, as a reliever. So maybe they try and do that. But I know that, like, a lot of people are saying, like, no, he deserves to be a starting pitcher.
I don't know with his fastball.
He's getting paid like a starting pitcher as well. So that's the main problem where we can't really be like, okay, you know what? We're bringing you to the relieving. We're bringing you to the bullpen. You're going to be in the bullpen. You're going to be a relieving pitcher, and you're going to be doing that. So, I mean, with the contract that he has, I don't think they'll be doing that, but that would be interesting for sure.
And that's one thing, like you just said, that I'm glad you pointed out with the contract. The Phillies are a with the contract team. They want to, utilize the guys that they paid for. We've seen that firsthand with Taijuan Walker. So I do think that we will see that continue with Aaron Nola. But Mac, I guess it's an exciting time for Sixers fans, right?
It actually really is. And especially if we keep this pick. I mean, that's my biggest wish, and that is my demand, that this team keeps the number third. They keep number 3, and they don't trade it away. They don't trade it back. They don't trade up. I'm fine with number 3. I actually think that to get Ace Bailey, to draft Ace Bailey is the right move. I believe in this kid a lot. I've seen a lot of highlights of this kid. I've talked to a guy who actually works with me at the moment. It's pretty cool. He went to Rutgers, and he's a huge Rutgers basketball fan. And he's saying that this kid is like another Kevin Durant. He models his game like Kevin Durant. I watch his highlights. It's very similar to Kevin Durant. He's got a great shot. He's skinny. He's around 6'10", 6'9", and he can really ball. This kid can really finish, and he's got some crazy athleticism. And I think he would be perfect with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. And also, I mean, you have Paul George and Joel Embiid, but I think that starting 5, when healthy, should be a great starting 5. It definitely should be a force to be reckoned with. But that's saying healthy, and that's a really rare thing to say with two guys in Joel Embiid and Paul George who have been totally injured most of their career, and the injury bug has bit them many times. So, I mean, we know that very well. So that's the problem. That is the main problem. But I think you have to do this. You have to draft Ace Bailey. You got to build the future, because if you try and go older, like people are saying, like, oh, trade for Kevin Durant. Here's the thing. Kevin Durant, I'm a huge Kevin Durant fan. But here's the problem, though. Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn. They tried that whole thing out with him, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. He would be coming here kind of doing the same kind of thing, different kind of role with Embiid, Paul George. Well, maybe probably not Paul George, because he would probably be in that trade hypothetically if they do this trade, which I hope to God they don't. So you probably have Maxey, Embiid, KD. Those three would be like the big three, and then obviously you got McCain. And then they'll probably filter in somebody as well to finish out the starting 5. But I think it just I think with KD, it's not the answer, because you cannot keep on getting these veteran players. We've seen how it has not worked out. With James Harden, that didn't work out. It didn't. And I mean, yes, he made the postseason with the Clippers, but look, he was a first-round exit once again. I think he was, or I think second round. But they lost. So once again, he lost in the postseason. He can't do anything in the postseason anymore. If we keep on bringing these older guys that are out of their prime, we're wasting money. We are wasting talent. And yes, I agree, though. We are doing that right now with Paul George. But, I mean, I just don't think it's the right move. And the whole Giannis thing, too, I love Giannis. Giannis is awesome. He's a great player, great talent. I just don't think you give up this third pick. I think these top 3 picks right now, they all are future all-star players. They're all-star caliber players that are going to help out franchises. I think with Dylan Harper, you've got a guy who's going to really help out the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama. That's going to be a great duo. And then Cooper Flag, obviously the Mavericks hit the lottery and they got Cooper Flag. That's going to be a great replacement for them, especially to fill the gap that Luka Doncic has left with that crazy trade. But I mean, that's what I think. I think you go for Ace Bailey, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'll say this: if that's what Mac says you got to do, that's probably what I'll say you got to do. Mac knows the Sixers well. I do like the fact that he's also somewhat local, going to Rutgers. I like the fact that he's young, and I do like the comparison to Kevin Durant. I think that that's kind of what this team needs. They need someone that's not afraid to be an alpha, because the guy that has number 21 on your screen, the guy that's in between McCain and Ace Bailey, that guy Embiid, unfortunately, he doesn't have that like alpha in him anymore. And I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. I think I finally got it. So I thank you guys for the patience. But I was talking about it with my barber today. And remember when Jimmy Butler was here, how good Embiid was, how locked in he was mentally, physically, like dedicated to the game he was. And it was just a different approach with him. And I feel like when Embiid has an alpha around him, that alpha's like, whoa, okay, like you're better than this. Come on, like, let's go. Like, come on, let's go. And Jimmy Butler was like, no, we're not going to wait for you to get good. You're going to be good, and we're going to go far. And they were that close to being, I think, in the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially winning the whole thing. They were the only team that took Toronto to Game 7 that year. Look it up. I remember that.
No, you're right.
But the thing is, the process isn't going to stop. This is the last chance I'm giving this. And I know I said that last year, but for real, this is it. Because looking at this roster right here, this 5, why wouldn't this work? Why shouldn't this work? Injuries, yes. But if there's no injuries, if everybody, like I said, wants to play, and if Ace Bailey is enough of an alpha to be like, yo, Embiid, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
I think that this team might be in good store. Tyrese Maxey tried. He did, and I was proud of him. That's not an easy thing to do. He called out Embiid this year. We all heard about it. He said, "Hey, big fella, I love you, but you're better than this. You can't be, demanding all these things, and you're not out here playing with us. So get out here and come play, be a part of this team." He tried. That didn't work. Something else has got to change in Joel Embiid. Until Embiid gets healthy, it doesn't matter what the Sixers do. Until Embiid gets mentally ready to play, it doesn't matter what the Sixers do, unfortunately.
Well, he also has to get evaluated. Remember, he's got to get evaluated from the doctors to really see if he actually medically has to retire, which is a huge factor. I mean, if he medically has to retire, I mean, that's huge. I mean, obviously the Sixers get back a bunch of the money, but I mean, it is definitely a pullback for the team because you're losing one of your MVPs. I mean, you're losing one of the best players in the league when healthy. That's the main thing. I mean, obviously, I get so frustrated with Embiid. I especially don't want him on this team with the attitude that he has at times. But when he is in the zone, when he's scoring like in that game when he played the Spurs, when he scored 70 points, that's the Embiid we need, and that's the Embiid we want. And I mean, that's honestly going to make this team a better team. But the problem is Embiid's got to look himself in the mirror, and he's got to really realize, okay, what do I have to do to really stay healthy, help this team out as much as I can? And that's the main thing. So I think that's the main thing with Embiid, and we just got to wait and see. And I think this draft, getting a guy like Ace Bailey will show, even if the Embiid thing falls and kind of fizzles away, where Embiid kind of is okay, they tell him you have to medically retire. It's not like it's all over for us because we got three young pieces in Jared McCain, Ace Bailey, and Tyrese Maxey, who are the young future stars. So that's the good thing. We have some, I guess you could say, there's some pillows there to land on, if that makes any sense. There's some pillows to land on. It's not like you're hitting the flat ground. There definitely is some cushion, I guess you could say, where we can kind of fall back and be okay, you know what? We can't just be freaking out and ending saying the sky's falling like Chicken Little or whatever. We got some other young talent. I'm excited for it. So we'll see what happens.
Sorry. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens for our Philadelphia 76ers. I know a lot of people are hoping that they turn this thing around, and that's what the Philadelphia Flyers are looking to do. So they go ahead and bring in Rick Tocchet, former Philadelphia Flyer, former coach, I believe, of the Canucks, 2024 Coach of the Year, which I found really interesting when I looked that up because that's last year. So I think the Flyers might be on a real uptrend. They get a guy that I think understands, number one, what it's like to play in this city, right? That's not an easy thing. Playing in Philadelphia is unlike playing in any other sports city. Also playing hockey, it's a very difficult, physically demanding sport. You play a lot of games. I think it's very underappreciated. And I'll say this, the Philadelphia Flyers fans love them, but they are really the black sheep. They either love you or they hate you. And if they hate you, they hate you. It's bad. So I think with Tocchet, this is a very smart hire for the Flyers. They know what they're doing here, and they're okay, we want to bring in a guy that's relatable, a guy that the players will respect, and a guy that understands what it's like to be a Philadelphia Flyer, because that's no easy task. So I'm pretty happy with this hire. I think it's a good move. KJ McCoy, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think it's great. I definitely think it's great. I mean, what you were saying before, he kind of understands the city. I mean, I'm pretty sure he won a Stanley Cup with us, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won at 83. I'm trying to think. Was it 80? Not 83. I think they won in the 80s. I'm pretty sure he won a cup with us. Could be wrong. But yeah, he played with the Flyers for many years. I know he also played he played some stints with the Kings. I believe actually the Arizona Coyotes as well. Then he played for the Penguins and the Bruins. But then he coached for a good while for the Canucks, Tampa Bay Lightning as well. So I think having a guy who was a coach of the year last year, I mean, it's still crazy to think this guy got fired. It's kind of like a thing that you see like in the NBA when like that Dwayne Casey guy, he was the coach of the year and then he got fired. He was a coach of the year for the Raptors years ago, and then he got fired, which was crazy. So it's a very similar situation with that. I think Rick Tocchet, what I've heard, he was an insane player and he was gritty. And I mean, he was just everything you can ask for. Flyers fans love him. And I think even if he doesn't have that good of a coaching stint with us, I still think his respect is not going to be ruined as a player. So I think like he could even gain even more respect, obviously being a great coach. And I think this is a great opportunity for him to kind of flip his career around as a coach and kind of get back in the swing of things and try and bring this organization back in the swing of things as well. Because we've been trying to find a coach for a while that can really try and get the best out of this team, especially the young stars and Mishkov and some other guys as well. So I think that's the main thing, because we tried to do it with Torts, and Torts was just too intense. Torts was really like just in his head about certain things, and he was just like he wanted things his way, and his way or the highway, it seemed like. So I think with Tocchet, he brings a lot of intensity here, and he understands the city. He understands this organization, and I don't think he's going to waste any time here. I really don't. I think he's going to be a great coach here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how the players adjust too, because I think with Torts, he was like too much asshole, where I think Tocchet's like the right balance of like not asshole, but like going to demand like, hey, do your best, try, kick it up a notch, but also like the balance of also he can relate. Like you said, he's a player's coach. He knows what it's like to play in Philadelphia. He was the 2024 coach of the year. So I think he can be that perfect balance of like, hey, let's get it. Let's do this. Let's get a fire in our belly. But also if you have an off night, it's okay. Like it's relatable. We're all human. Just bounce back the next night and we'll get it. And I think that's a good mentality in a coach. Like, I think that's something that a lot of players like to play for, because he understands they're human. They have nights that, might be off. But obviously, Torts didn't understand that. He was threatening that he would kill Morgan Frost, I think was the storyline or something like that. It's like, what? Like, what? I don't know if that's true. Allegedly, I should say. But
he started becoming insane. He really did. Oh, and one thing to add just before we move on to the next topic. So the Flyers, he did not win a Stanley Cup with the Flyers, actually.
They went to one, right?
I think they maybe went to one with him. I'm pretty sure
picture of him with one. I think that they went to it, but they lost. I'm pretty
sure they did, but they lost because they won 74 and 75. I should have known that the back-to-back years. So, I mean, that's the one. That's the main thing. But, yeah, I was noticing the Stanley Cup photo, so I was like, I'm wondering if he won a Stanley Cup or not. So okay, let's get into the birds, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like one of his most identifiable photos. But yes, Mac, we got the schedule released. Yep. The Philadelphia Eagles dropped it. Wasn't much of a drop. I'm gonna get it queued up. Tell us how you're feeling while I get this photo queued up.
I'm feeling great. I mean, the one thing I'm feeling great that we get to have this challenge, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm not worried about this team, but I do think it is a tough schedule. I think is a very tough schedule. I think that people who are saying, oh, this is a cakewalk of a schedule because you have opponents like the Raiders, you have opponents like the Bears, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Giants. Now, those are the ones where you probably will get a win, most likely. But I think the other ones, though, those are really jump balls. If you really think about it, those are really like some games where like it could go either way. It really could, because you have the Chiefs, obviously. Yes, as you see this right here, what I predicted is this. I think the first week, I think we beat the Cowboys. I think we win it. Banner night. I mean, I think we raised that banner right in front of Jerry Jones's old ass, right in front of his face, and he's gonna be like, what did I get to deserve this? And he's going to be so pissed, and you're going to just see him just like grumpy as heck. He's going to look grumpy from Snow White. It's going to be funny. And then week 2, I actually think they take the L against the Chiefs. And I know that people are saying like, oh, well, they're going to be coming back from Brazil, the same kind of thing that we went through last year. I still think the Chiefs will get us. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be at their stadium. And also last time we played them at their stadium, we beat them. And I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder for that as well, once again. But yeah, they're gonna really think like, you know what, we should have won that Super Bowl last year. But I mean, they're wrong, and it's not going to gain them back that Super Bowl. Week 3, I think we do beat the Rams. Week 4, I actually think we do beat the Buccaneers. I think we actually go down there. We finally do beat the Buccaneers. I think it's going to be tough, but I think if you have a healthy A.J. Brown, a healthy Lane Johnson, which we did not have last year against the Buccaneers, and you could notice the void that was there. I mean, I think Fred Johnson, that was the game, or Fred Jackson, that was not Johnson. Fred Jackson, that was a game where we were really worried about Fred Jackson. We were like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure that was a game where he looked really bad. Broncos, I think we beat the Broncos. We beat the Giants. We beat the Vikings. We beat the Giants again, so we sweep them like usual. Packers, I think we go there and we actually beat them. Then we got the Lions. That's going to be such a tough game. I think that's going to be the game of the year, to be honest. That you already have a lot of tension. I mean, there's like Avon St. Brown saying that they can beat the Eagles and everything like that. I think the Eagles take the victory against the Lions in that game. And then they take on the Cowboys again in Dallas. As always, I think we're going to do the same thing as we do every year. We split it with them, and they will beat us that week. Then we got the Bears. The Bears, I think we beat the Bears. I think we dominate them. I don't believe in Caleb Williams beating us. I just don't see it. And then we play the Chargers, which I actually think we could probably – I think we might get the L that week. I actually think Herbert's going to have a really good game, and I think he's just going to – he's going to have a field day. I mean, I think we're gonna be playing a good game. I just think they're going to get the dub. I think they're going to maybe win by a field goal. Then we got the Raiders, and I think with the Raiders we'll beat them. You got the Commanders away. I think they beat us there. The Bills, now that can be one of the games of the year as well. Josh Allen's never beaten us. I actually think that this is the time that Josh Allen beats us. It's in Buffalo, and he's at home. I just think he's going to have a great game. I mean, that's going to be a good game for the Bills, and it's going to be a close game for sure. But I think the Bills will get they'll get the dub at the end. And then the last game, really either we're fighting for the division with the Commanders, or it's one of those games where we are not playing our starters and we're just playing our backups in. And I think that will be a W still. So my final record is 12-5. That's my prediction. And I still think that they will be a threat in the playoffs, even though they are 12-5. I still think they can get in and they can feel the momentum. And obviously, I think they can just ride the wave.
I agree. I think it should be a fun year. My prediction's a little bit different. So I had 14-3, and I go a little bit more in depth. If you guys want to go watch the main show from Wednesday night, go check it out. I went in depth on that, but I'll give you guys a quick breakdown. So I have a win with Dallas, a win with Kansas City, a loss to the Rams, a win in Tampa Bay, a win against the Broncos, a win in New York at Thursday Night Football, a win against the Vikings, a win again then at home. Then they're going into the bye week 7-1. Then I got a loss actually against the Packers, a win against the Lions, a win against the Cowboys, a win against the Bears, a win against the Chargers, a win against the Raiders, a loss to the Commanders, a win against the Bills, and then a win at home against the Commanders. So all in all, I had 14-3. That's my schedule prediction. The games I could see them folding: Tampa Bay, the Vikings potentially, because it's the second game on and away. Now it's away after New York, so they're taking a bus. It's not really like a bye week, but it's still a bye week. And I think the Vikings might actually be better than people think that they are. Same with J.J. McCarthy. So the Vikings, maybe, but probably not. The Bucks, definitely. They always have our number. That could be a game that if we get caught slipping. The Rams, I think for sure, if they beat us, they might potentially have won the Super Bowl last year. And then last but not least, we all know the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. He's a legit threat. He's making a name for himself, and he's going to be somebody that we have to fear. Couple other wild cards, maybe the Raiders give us a run for our money, like Genty, if he ends up being the rookie of the year and having
we also got Geno Smith too. So,
and I think with Tom Brady's influence there too, like you just alluded to, their front office is a little bit better. Geno Smith, I think, is going to be getting some wisdom from somebody that I guess at one point was his rival in the AFC East. I think at least maybe when he was
the Jets.
Yeah, and when Brady was
you're right. I forgot about
Patriot,
that.
but it's kind of crazy now that guy's an owner now that quickly of a franchise, and he's still playing. Like, still pretty cool. And there's got to be a mutual respect between the two. But I wonder if he's getting some inside advice that nobody else.
He might be.
Gotten.
I mean, I will say this though before we get on to the next topic as well. I think with the schedule as well, I think it's crazy. And I mean, you can probably allude to this as well. I think it's insane to say that we don't have any back-to-back home games. It's insane. And I think it's the only time we've ever had it like this. I mean, I just think this is a tough schedule in general, not to have back-to-back home games. And we also have a bunch of weird games where we have a Black Friday game. We've never played a game on Friday. We have a game that's on, I believe there's a couple Monday night games. There's a game, I believe there's a couple Thursday night games as well. So a lot of these games are scattered, and a lot of these games, like, all right, it's going to be sometimes where you're not going to have too much of an off day. You're not going to have too much to recover. You're going to have to it's going to be a really short week for the Birds. So I feel like that's also a disadvantage for the Birds as well, and where that could drop some games for sure. So I think it's crazy to think that some people were saying and telling me, oh, that's a cakewalk of a schedule, because I really don't think it is, because of and the reason is because we don't have any back-to-back home games. And I think having the other games that are like Friday, Thursday, and Monday, I think those are some different games. Those are some different time. Like, they really got to adjust. They got to really adjust to those. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see what happens with it. Philadelphia, get ready. Going to hopefully be a repeat. Hopefully we come out with another Super Bowl championship. But this is a map that we used earlier in the year that I kind of wanted to bring back. And it just kind of shows what is Eagles country and what's Steelers country in the state of Pennsylvania for you guys who don't know. And if you look very closely, see where it says Reading?
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, where that line is of where Philadelphia Eagles fans and Steelers fans divide. Luckily, Alyssa's from the area, right, of Reading, not Reading specifically, but that area. So she's an Eagles fan. We know Mikey D is from the area of Scranton, so obviously he's an Eagles fan. No, I'm kidding, just busting balls.
Giants fan, but there are Steelers fans up in Scranton, though, too.
There are a couple, but I think that this is a pretty good general consensus to show, hey, this is Eagles versus Steelers country, Phillies versus Pirates. But what about Sheetz versus Wawa? That's a little bit more interesting of a debate, my friends, because it's not so clean cut. Now, a Sheetz finally just opened up in my area. I kind of live in a cool area where Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware all meet. And in Maryland, which is a good 15 minutes maybe from where I live, there is a Sheetz that opened up. So I've gotten to try out Sheetz. I don't mind it. It's good for fried late night food. When nothing else is open, it's a holiday. No, I'm kidding. But like it's seriously, like when there's no other option, it's fine. It's not bad. It's good. They're good at fried food. That's what they're good at. It's a convenience store that has good fried food. I'll say this. I would buy fried food at Sheetz before I would buy fried food anywhere else. Comparing it to Wawa, though, is a different tier. Wawa's known, in my opinion, for great hoagies and great coffee. That's what they're good at. Now they're doing all this other stuff like pizza, quesadillas, and it's just, I feel like some of it's good. Some of it's bad. But I was talking about this with my boss today, and shout out to Aaron, and he brought up saying, shouldn't they just kind of focus on what they're good at? Which I do think that they do, but he makes a good point that This area is Wawa's hub. And you also see today, Wawa's opening up now in Indiana. So they're going to start to become a lot more of a corporate company. Congratulations to Wawa. That's a huge achievement. I'm happy for them, seriously, as a businessman and as a fellow entrepreneur. Phenomenal success by them. But at the same time, the one Wawa jacked up my boss's order today, like really bad. And he was upset about it. He was really excited about getting Wawa all day. He kept talking about his hoagie and how he was excited for it at lunch. And then he got back to the office and they toasted it when he didn't want it toasted and a couple other things. And it's just like, come on. Yeah. So I'll say this. I go to these places for different things. If I want fried food, I'm going to Sheetz, mac and cheese bites, chicken tenders, maybe a pretzel. Not a soft pretzel, though. That's obviously Wawa. But if I want a hoagie, a coffee, a sizzly, a soft pretzel, I would even argue a gobbler. I mean, I like the gobbler. I don't know about you guys, but I like it. I know there's Capriotti's around here, which we got to get you to try, Mac. It's like,
I've tried it.
You've had it? Have you ever had the Bobby there?
Yeah, you're talking about the tomato pie place.
From Capriotti's?
You're talking about tomato pie place, right?
No, it's a sub shop in Delaware. We'll have to take.
Oh no, I haven't had that. I think you're talking about the place in. I think you're talking about the place with the tomato pie.
So no, I know. Oh, Carapolis. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. So we'll take you to Capriotti's.
Okay, yeah, those sound similar.
it does sound similar. I hear you.
Yeah.
But they do. It's imagine if Primo Hoagie did a gobbler, it's like a very premier, top tier, very good sandwich made with the finest ingredients. Like it's a good sandwich. But like if I want a gobbler from Wawa, like just like a gobbler, it's great. I don't have a problem with that either.
You only get it during Thanksgiving though.
Yeah, you just got to know what Wawa's known for. And that was another thing that my boss said. He had a good suggestion. He said Wawa should make the gobbler year round, I think. He's like, if I want a gobbler today, I should be able to buy it. He's like, Burger King, have it your way. I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're talking about this because Pittsburgh, they're known for Sheetz over there. I mean, they have Sheetz on the side of their jersey sponsor. That's what the Pirates have on their jersey sponsor, which I wanted the Phillies to have that for Wawa. That would have been so cool. Unfortunately, they don't have that. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think with Wawa and Sheetz, I've been to both. I go up to Scranton a good amount to go see our buddy Mikey D, and my buddy Rome, and a bunch of those guys up there. So I go see them a good amount, and I have Sheetz a bunch there. But I always rave about Wawa. I always tell them about how Wawa's better because I think certain things, just like the whole vibe as well, is better at Wawa. Also with Sheetz too, the one thing that pisses me off about that place is constantly you just hear ding, 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 ding. And it's the iPhone noise. And it's just every order that happens. And they just have that like on a repeat. And it's like you hear it even after you leave the store for 10 minutes, you hear it like for 10 more minutes. And I'm like, dude, I already left Sheetz. Why do I keep on hearing that stupid noise? So that's the one thing. But I think their fried food's pretty good. And I mean, that's cool. They're moving around and they got them in Maryland now. But, I still think Wawa's superior. But, I mean, I do feel like, though, there is a little bit of a downfall that Wawa's having. And I think the prime Wawa that we used to know, the ones like in the 2000s, I think those days are kind of over, but they keep on adding more things. So, but, yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting topic, though. I mean, Sheetz versus Wawa. And we talk about it a good amount. So it's good that they're pretty much their pro teams are playing against each other. So it's kind of cool.
We'll see who really has better hoagies, who really has better sports teams. We know the answer to one of them already. Well, probably both of them, I should say. But we'll actually find out this weekend. But I just want to cut it there because I actually got to get ready to do some stuff. I know KJ McCoy has got some stuff he's got to do too. But, Mac, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. Anything you want to say on the way out of here, brother?
Yeah, so if you guys are not doing anything, please go to SFBN, Sports Fan Base Network on YouTube. Me and Broad Sports will actually be announcing tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We will be announcing the Philadelphia Football All-Star Game. So all the best football All-Star, the best football players will be playing that game, and me and Broad Sports will be announcing that once again. So it's a total honor to be announcing with him once again. And I'm pumped. I mean, we got to just do a basketball tournament recently, so get to do football, and that's going to be awesome. We both know the sport really well, and I think it's going to be gold. I think it's going to be awesome. So tune in for that if you can, and also tune into this as well. So we appreciate it, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend and good luck to you, Mac. I'll be tuned in. Going to be fun to see you
Appreciate it.
guys commentate on a football game. Guys, if you don't, please give KJ a follow at official KJ McCoy, and please give Broad Sports a follow at Broad Sports. Please give us a follow at the Sippin' Sports Podcast, and as always, subscribe if you guys haven't. That
and Chris will be here
at the end.
Chris will be here next week, I believe.
Huh? What were you going to say?
I was going to say Chris could not make it, unfortunately. Chaos Chris, he was kind of busy. He had some things going on, but I think he's trying to be on next week. So for the people looking for Chaos Chris, don't worry. He's just causing chaos somewhere else right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for you guys this week. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope everybody stays safe. And as always, God bless. Go Birds. Go Bills. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell.